Hello and welcome to another video on Java programming language, and today we are going to cover different parts or sections of Java programs. I will start with the details of different parts of the Java program, but at the end of this video I will also show you the demo where we will cover all these parts. Whenever we have to write any Java program, we have to go step by step and we have to add different sections as per the requirements of Java programming. So at the start, whenever we write a new program, we have to write down the package name, and mostly if there is only one package, the project name used to be the package name also, but it used to be in small letters. And then if we need to import any existing packages or user defined packages, we will import the packages after the definition of the package name. If we need to add any comments that will discuss about the project overall, or you want to write down that who wrote this code, you can add these details as a part of the comments, and comments does not used to be compiled. During the compilation, the comments used to be discarded. Comments can be written anywhere in the program, and there are different types of the comments. We will cover in another session about the different types of the comments. After importing the packages, you have to define the class. And the class, if you are going to have only one class in your project, then the project name used to be the class name also, and you have to define it and give the name of your project name as the class name. And inside the class you have to write down the method. By default, you must need to include the main method. We have two different types of methods that we will cover in another topic. As concerned for the classes, we have different types of classes also, but today's session we are just going to cover basic parts of the Java program. And then inside the methods, if we are going to call another class or another method that belong to somewhere else, then you have to create the object of that class, and then you will be able to use the methods of that class. And at the end, in each Java program, you used to have different set of variables as per your requirements, and you used to define those variables with different data types, the way you want to store the data over those variables. And the last thing that we used to have in Java program, that is the body. For every class, for every method, for every conditional statements or loops, you have to define the body also by adding the curly brackets, and if you will not add this, then you will face errors in your programming code. So let's open the NetBeans and try to write down a program that will include all these things. So I will go to the start menu and open the NetBeans. I will create a new project, and I will select Java application, then click next, and then I will give the name parts of Java app. Okay, and this is the project name, and it is going to be saved at that location. Then I will click finish. You can see over here, when we created a default Java application, a default Java file has been opened, and at the start of the Java file you can see some of the comments. These are the default comments that which are added by the NetBeans. You can change these comments. Let's suppose I want to add comment like this is the test program which is going to discuss about different parts of the Java application. So I just write down some comments. I replaced it with the existing ones, and now you can see over here the first line, actual line of the code, start with the package name, and package name is same as the project name but in small letters. And after the package name, as I discussed, we can import different existing packages of the Java if we need it, and if we don't need, we don't need to include. So for example, in this program I will try to use some math functions like power or square root or something like this, and for these functions we need to include math package import Java, that is in small letters, language lang.math. By this way we included the math package that is going to be used for different math functions. And after importing the Java package, next is about classes. By default, for every Java program we must need to have a class, and if you are going to have one class only, that class will have the default name same as the project name. Okay, and inside the class you can define different variables, you can define different methods, and then you can use it. But by default every main class of the program will have main function defined inside the class, and if we will not have that main function, then the application will not run and you have errors. So by default they already included the main function over here, or main method over here. So now next I am going to have some variables, although we have a complete separate session about the variables, but over here I am just going to define two variables and we are going to use those variables. So I will define integer type variables, int a equal to 5, int b equal to 2, and now I am going to print the sum of these two variables. So how we in order to print out something on the screen or on the console, we have to use predefined method that is part of the system. That will be system dot out dot print, and inside the brackets you have to write down a plus b even, and by this way you will be able to print out the summation of a and b. That is very simple way. While if you want to include some text along with the printout, then you can change the you can add the string values inside the bracket also. So now let's try to create an object of the math function and try to cover some function or method that is not by default available. So I will try to take square root of 5, let's suppose. So I will say math, I will say int c equal to math dot square root, and inside this one I am going to pass a. So by this way I am going to get the square root. Actually the square root will give the output as double, so the c need to be double, that will be having decimal point values. So now let's try to print out the value of c. Again we will use system dot out dot print, and we will pass the variable c. So by this way we will be able to create the object of the math class, and then we are going to call the specific method square root, sqrt, in order to calculate the square root of the given variable value, and we printed out those values. So let's try to execute this code. Because they are displaying both outputs together, so in order to have a space or the new line, we will use plus slash n, and by this way a new line will be added after printing the answer of a plus b. So let's try to execute. You will be able to see the difference. Now you can see the sum of a and a plus b is 7, and the square root of a, that is square root of 5, is 2.23 something. So they are displaying on separate. So in order to add string and variables together, you have to use plus sign, and then you can add the double quotation to include anything inside the quotation as a string. Slash n is being used over here to add the new line. So you can see over here, this is the package. This is the, as I discussed, package name. I'm adding the comment package name. This is the, I will remove this, importing of a package, then the default class name. Okay, then we have default main function, main method. In Java we used to call it method, while for C++ or C other languages we used to call it function. So main method, and over here you can see I defined variables, okay, and then you can see I used predefined system defined method, okay, and then we printed out the values. So that's it for today's session. Over here we just covered the basic parts of the Java programming language. In next session we will discuss the details of each part. For example, different types of classes, different types of commands, different types of variables, different types of methods. We are going to cover details of all these parts in separate sessions. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe my channel and don't forget to share this video. Thank you.